welcome you all to Tibet House here, and Professor Bharadiji and your two TAs, Satan and Hadullah, and my dear friend here, and all the students. It is a great joy for us to welcome you here, and it's a gesture of IIT. IIT is symbolic of the Indian, the intellectual talents. So offering lights here, lights symbolic of the wisdom talents. And I'd like to invite Professor Bharadiji, your two the TAs and my dear friend here, and the one or two, maybe two girls and two boys as representatives from the students' side to offer the lights, and then we'll start with the talk. Okay, please come.
Venerable Geshe and the TAs on the course, Nishok, and many other friends that are sitting around here. And of course, my student friends, many of you, I today feel that perhaps if I had had my classes here, I would have had a more generous presence. So thank you for coming in and becoming Geshe students for today and maybe later. Before I begin giving a very brief introduction to how we are here today and to the idea behind this course, I would like to offer a small offering from all of us to Geshe and to Tibet House. So, yeah. Thank you, Geshe. This is a very interesting thing that which some of us may not be aware of when we come to a high lama or we come to a monastery or we go to a place where we pray or where we just go to be ourselves. One of the things which we do as a sign of our humility is to offer something. It's a material thing, but more than anything else, it's a kind of a little pack of hopes, aspirations, and a sense of connect we make to the people, the person we are going to be with. And it's in that spirit of humility, I'd like to, it may sound a little boring to you, old fogey professors telling you about where they were, but this is the place I used to come for studying when there was hardly one person sitting through the winters, a gentleman professor from Lahore by the name of K. Angrup Laholi. He would wait for me with a little um, um, hanky full of dry fruits. And every winter, as I used to wait for him to come here, and Gun Bahadur, who just came, and we greeted each other, he eventually started offering me tea as well. I've spent many hours here, which used to be a library, a very open space at that time, and very few people. And I've felt the frugality and the generosity of a monastery in this building. And I come back here with a great deal of hope. And when I come with you, who are fortunately my students, uh, it is with the hope that all of you, with your anxieties, worries, there's the whole idea of this course was not to teach you anything, it was also to learn myself, right? So I hope you go back enriched in very many ways, much more contained and calmed out in terms of thinking what the course has really culminated in, and how fortunate you are that the course culminated in Tibet House. So I think I'm immensely grateful to Geshe, who has put aside many of his engagements for today and made space for us. And I think that is really karmically profound for me, that, especially in a place where, which is burgeoning with activities. So, Gishela, thank you so much again. And just to give you a little prefatory remarks on what you just don't need remarks at all on, is that I'm so grateful you're speaking to us on monasticism today. And the students are, of course, very, very keen, I'm sure, just as all of us are, to understand why monasticism, what does it do, what's purpose is it solving in a world in which we live? Does it do anything? Why do we have the idea of monasticism? Is it a kind of arcane institution, or is it thriving in a way that we don't even understand now? And I'd leave this for Geshe-la to give you immense wisdom on this subject and much more. So, thank on that note of gratitude, and immense gratitude from all of us here, the students and myself and the TAs. Thank you, Geshe-la.
Thank you, Professor Bharataji. It is such a great joy for me to be with all of the students here. And there's several the points, dots to be connected. And I'm sure that many of us, we already met twice, campus, IIT Delhi campus. And as the some of you may be wondering, your professor, Bharataji, mentioned one name, Gun Bahadur, who served Professor Bharataji T when he was your age in our university. So he's still here with us. And if you want to have a darshan of him, you can. He is still available, as he is one of the longest serving staff of Tibet House and extremely kind. Everybody loved his tea. Because here the number is too huge. I don't know whether he can prepare this quality tea for you. But keep in mind that Tibet House is always there for you. In future, if you would like to taste Gun Barduji's tea, visit us, Tibet House, not for classes, for tea, for Gun Barduji's tea, not my tea. So there is, I'm not joking, Tibet House is for you. Please do visit us. For example, like, say we have my friend Nishok, and he visited, I think, twice or three times here for personal meetings. And I don't know, for advice or for conversation or for tea, I don't know. Right? He doesn't know about the cigarette of Gunbar. This is very popular here. Many people, they come perhaps for his tea. So you always also please feel Tibet House is your home. Come here for a cup of tea, and if you coincide with lunch, you can also have lunch with us. We have a simple standard lunch here. Okay. So with this mind communication with the Professor Pardiji was somehow connected with, like, many years ago, that I received a mail from Professor Pardiji if there's any Tibetan the student who likes to do PhD in philosophy. And then it was like twice, two times the mail that I received. And I was curious who that professor might be. And then I asked if there's a possibility for two of us to meet. We met, and I was so impressed by Professor Bharati. This is how we the say built up the friendship. And then the now meeting all of you, Professor Bhadraji, supported by Lajanla, the OTA, Lajanla, Sensalanla, and then we have the Sadvan, right? And the so that way we see that the we all become connected, as Professor Pardiji said. And so since we don't have much time, and I have like 30 minutes to talk about the monasticism, the role of monasticism, the significance of that, and so forth, and in our life. Then number two is that the next half an hour for question and answer session, and any question that you might have, any question that you might have, I'll be so happy. And then you already know that my two-time visit to your campus, I mentioned that your questions should not be suppressed. Questions are so precious. It doesn't mean that you will get the answer from anybody who you ask. If the person A doesn't cannot give you the correct answer, don't worry. Always answer to person B, person C, person D. Your questions are very precious. They should not be suppressed. It can be against, it can be in for, it can be in the form of, say, say, doubt. Feel free, never suppress your questions. Questions so precious. Okay. So in this, with this in mind, also I like to quickly share with you that the is also so auspicious that you came here, and then just after your being here, there's going to be a very quick exhibition inaugural, painting exhibition inaugural, and the paintings are displayed up there. And one painting, a small painting, the painter says that it takes her minimum few months. A small painting, and you can see the quality of the painting. You must not miss that program. It's going to be very quick after this talk. Then we'll have a very quick launch, and all the professor and the two TAs and Nishok and all the students, you can have a quick visit at the painting exhibition. You just have a look at this. Then the next part that I left not the I'm not to miss to mention is that Tibet House where you're now. So this was actually started by His Holiness the Dalai Lama into 1964 under through the support of the Indian government. And the Indian government has been extremely, extremely kind in rendering this, offering this support. Although back in the 60s, India was a very young independent nation with huge population still supporting the Tibetan people, His Holiness the Dalai Lama there. And so this was started. And but the reality is that with this the institution set up in 1964, and the I took over as the director in 2011. And the since then, I would say that more than the Tibetans, to be very honest, more than the Tibetans, Indians benefited from this institution. And how? Not for spreading Buddhism, is about healing so many people because the locals, they're all Indians. And then the it's easiest place to visit, very easy place to visit. And they, people need the say advice on education programs, how to go further after the masters, how to go up further after the doctoral degree, and then I've the mental stress, anxiety. Oh, my sister has anxiety, depression, and so forth. So this is like the place where many people can come, just feel the ambience, the radiance, the ambience, the presence of His Holiness the Dalai's blessings. And people just coming here, they feel the healing. So that way, so many Indians, in fact, I would say that to be very honest, at least from my coming here, this institute served the Indians more than to the Tibetan people. So now it is the going abroad. The going abroad meaning that is activities are being spread through online programs all over the world. Today we have about a minimum of allowed 4,000 students doing online, offline courses in the study of the philosophy, psychology, metaphysics, and logic. So we have about 4,000 students from all over the world, and some of them are here at the back. My friends from this course who attended my recent retreat, 10-day retreat in Bodh Gaya on philosophy, and I'm so glad to learn from the your team, Sensei Harjuna, that some of the students, the talk that I gave about emptiness, dependent origination, how they can be used to deal with their emotions, it's very inspiring to hear that. I'm not surprised that the students you are from IIT. I'm not surprised because that the quality of the how much you're able to imbibe the philosophy, the very profound philosophy which I have shared with you. Keep in mind that you are from the IT, and your, of course, your intellectual, the ability, talent is a way to be appreciated. And the one great Indian master by the name Bodhisattva Shantideva, what is that? Is that don't teach the basics to the intelligent people. Don't teach the sophisticated things to the dull people. You're getting it? So we should know that the level of the understanding of the audience, then accordingly teach. So, in fact, what I taught last time, I can't really expect just in 2 sessions to for you to understand everything, but from the feedback that I got, it's very inspiring that some of you who made your presentations, after that, with respect to the philosophy that I taught, your grasping capability was just amazing. So, with this in mind, then now to make it very quick, is about the monasticism. Say the monasticism meaning becoming monks and nuns, living a life away from the mundane world. So why why is this to be done? If you look in the history of the humanity, we see that originally it came from more. I would say originally in a very standard form. It came from India. India is an amazing rich country, a country not in wealth, mineral resources, natural resources. India is extremely rich, no doubt. Alongside, better than this is the brain. Not that the Indian brain is better, but the India is a place which gave birth to all these sophisticated philosophical traditions. And alongside, unlike today we just go through the Facebook, the Instagram, and so forth, and you have so much of deadlines. You forgot these when you spend so much time. In other words, there's so much distraction today. On the other hand, in those days, 1,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago, 3,000 years ago, 4,000 years ago, people did not have these distractions. So people, at the same time in India, this the tradition of the philosophy thinking developed extremely profound. For example, we just came from Nalanda, and I'm sure that you know what the Nalanda, the university was like. It was the one of the Indian presidents who's in his the address during the Republic Day, they made up the national address that Nalanda University, the erstwhile Nalanda University, not what is today, erstwhile Nalanda University was the first university in the world. Who produced this? India produced this. Otherwise, small pockets of education institutions are here everywhere in the world, in India, in the West, everywhere. But on a large scale, as a proper institution, academic institution on a large scale, India produced the first one, Nalanda University. So this is what India produced. So with this in mind, so these people then, the thoughts were so refined, and our mind, your mind, my mind, the professor's mind, your mind is incredible. It's like uranium. It has a tremendous capacity to grow, shine. But as many of the neuroscientists say, that the capacity of the mind, the capacity of the brain that we use is so less in comparison with the capacity of the brain that you have. So in those days, they use this capacity so much to the extent of the, say, with respect to the meditative concentration, they go really high level. And then with respect to the, say, the cognitive activation of the mind, they did extremely sophisticated uh, the the inquiries in those days. So now the people, they see that they 24 hours is too less for them, and then no time for distraction. Therefore, therefore the monasticism, no time for distraction, because they have a lot to do to harness, to retrieve, to harness this capacity that to trap this capacity and harness it and in its fullest form. So therefore, they just isolate themselves from the conventional world, conventional, busy, mundane world. In those days, farming or milking the cows, or then doing some business transactions and so forth, where everything is just for the belly, everything just for the belly, not for the brain activation. So those people, seeing that this is full distraction from your the opportunity to activate your brain fully, so they deliberately cut off themselves from these busy mundane activities, and that came to be known as the monasticism. So, but this today, if you look at in the history of humanity, be it say like Jainism or say the various versions of Hinduism like the Vedanta, Samkhya, Mimamsaka, Vaisheshik, Nyaya, and Buddhism. So there we see that the major contributions in the literary world, they're mostly the monastics because they spend their time. Everybody's at capacity. You have the capacity. I have the capacity. Even those days, like 2,000 years ago, 4,000, 3,000 years ago, people who were just, they say, they chasing after the cattle, and people who were just spending like days on end the cultivating the crops. They have the same capacity, but some prefer to just cut off themselves from all these busy activities and then go to in isolation to think more. And naturally, they will grow in this the first in this area of the professionalism or this career, where then they come up with the concept of the cosmology, the concept of the mathematics, concept of mathematics. Even say in the West, the geneticist, the genes, genomes. So the original people who conceived these ideas, they were all the Christian fathers, meaning that Christian fathers who were all monastics. So what I'm saying is that the monastics is not that, okay, we are fed up with the mundane life, very complicated. No, because we want time and we have only 24 hours and 24 hours too less. So therefore we have no time for distractions. This is how the monasticism came to being. After all, whether you with now the concept, the world is very different. The world is very different because of which, whether you go into monasticism or whether you lead a life as a lay person, that is purely the individual's choice. Then the next one is whatever you are, the purpose, let's not forget it. What's the purpose of life? 2008, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, when his ones were invited to give, say, the public address in Delhi University in the Vice Chancellor's chamber. There's a huge hall there, and the public address. At the end of the address, question answers. One of the girl students raised her hand and asked, "Your Holiness, what's the purpose of life?" Okay, I asked the same question to the students. So to Professor Paradi's students, to my first visit. And I asked the same question. And we all agreed that the purpose of life, whether you're monastic or whether you're not monastic, it doesn't matter. The purpose of life is to make sure that you lead a meaningfully happy life. Let me repeat it. A genuinely happy life. Whether you go into the academic line, whether you go into business line, whether you go into startups, or whether you go into to become a CEO of companies, or you are artists, and the or you are a musician, or you are some of the boys here maybe Messi, Ronaldo. How many reasons Messi, Ronaldo? The fans, great fans, crazy after Messi, Ronaldo. Be very honest. Okay, from IIT, if there is somebody who is crazy after Messi, Ronaldo, which means that you have a multiple talents. You're getting it? Because that you IIT means you expected to go more into cognitive activation of your brain, not so much into the physical activities like the football and so forth. And of course, Albert Einstein, a genius in academic science, At the same time, his love for music is just unparalleled. So you can have multiple talents. It's very possible. It doesn't mean that you cannot have these. So, having said this, the point is that what's a purpose of life? Purpose of life, let me make it very quick here. A genuine happiness. His Holiness responded, that is genuine happiness in the purpose of life. Now, next, the reality is that in a life, they say, for example, there's so much cases of anxiety, stress, depression, suicide, and so forth happening everywhere. So that you can be in this problem. Your friends can be in this problem. Your relatives can be in this problem. Your brother, sister, and so forth can be in this problem. So then we need to know that the whole idea, whether you're monastic or non monastic, idea is that both should say they think of acquiring a genuine life, genuine happiness. And when you say happy, depression's far away. How many agree with me, sense? When you're happy, depression's far away, anxiety is far away. Do you sense? If you agree, very good. So the point is that when you say that I'm happy, you learn how to be happy. Don't expect happiness to come from outside. Simply somebody bringing you, what is that? Brand new iPhone 16 Pro Max on your birthday. But it's just happy for you for 2 days, 3 days. There's not a genuine happiness. What is genuine happiness? This is something that we IIT students, you are expected to know this secret. You have to know this secret. And the purpose of the study of philosophy, purpose study of the Buddhist philosophy or any philosophy, the purpose should be for you to learn how to be happy, genuine happy person. And I'm going to quickly touch upon 5 points. How was the opposite of happiness? Anyone? What is the opposite of happiness? Huh? Depression, sadness, huh? Apathy, yes. Anyone else? Unhappiness, very good. Despair, restlessness, despair, very good. So these are the opposites of happiness, and we don't want, nobody wants these. If you don't want this, first you have to know. I remember, I'm not going to mention the name of the professor. There was a very, very senior professor many years ago. It was, I think, about like 15 years ago. 15 years ago, I was with the professor, a very, very senior professor. And he and his wife, we were together. He invited me to his place for 5 days. And we were having a meal together. And we were having some conversations. So meanwhile, the wife, the wife, the said something about the how the life is extremely, say the boring, and the life is extremely meaningless. And I said that we talked about then the rebirth, and she said that, oh no, I'm not going to come back. I'm not going to come back to samsara again. I'm fed up with samsara. So what I told her is that okay, it is. What I told her is that no, if you take cyanide, don't say that, oh, I'm fed up with dying, I don't want to die, right? You took it. It's a cause. In fact, you have to experience it. You have to experience it. So the point is that if you don't want to die because of the cyanide, do something to let the cyanide come out. Do something to nullify the effect of the cyanide. Do something. Don't just say, I'm fed up with cyanide. So likewise, to say that I don't want these despair, unhappiness, anxiety, stress, depression, so forth. Oh, now I'm fed up with these things. I don't want these. This will not help. This will not help. What should we do? We have to know how this depression, anxiety, stress, they come about. What's the mechanism? And then do to see how to undo that. You're getting it? So how this stress in your life happens, this is all mental experience. It's nothing to do with physical. Physical, these are just so cooperative conditions to trigger the stress anxiety within you. But the mechanism is happening inside. So, what is the mechanism? It involves five activities for your mind, five mental functions, known as the five mental, the mental factors. Five for them. First is contact. Number two is attention. Number three is discrimination. Number four, feeling. Number five, intention. Last time I did this in IIT. This is like a revision for you. Let me say this once more. Contact, attention, discrimination, feeling, and intention. I just keep it there. If I keep it there, it is no purpose. You have to know what these five are and how they're relevant, how these are all connected to each other. Let me make it very quick. For example, let's say that you come to Tibet House. You come to Tibet House and you come to Tibet House with the thought that, okay, I learned from Professor Bharatiji, Tibet House, very peaceful place. I'm fed up with my colleague, I'm fed up with my classmate, this person, always seeing him, that just making this seeing this person makes me just unhappy. So today we're going to Tibet House. At least I'll have the half a day mentally stress free. You come here, and your friend also came here. You come here. Oh, I'm going to get at least 2 or 3 hours of stress free life in Tibet House. I'm not going to see my friend. And you met. And again, mental stress comes. You're getting it. How this mental stress comes? Look, the 5 points. First, you came in contact with a person who you consider as difficult person. Contact. Then you better, is this person, right? You pay attention. Just yes, he's the one, she's the one. Then the unpleasant feeling comes. This unpleasant feeling comes, and then you want this unpleasant feeling, or you don't want it. You don't want it. So you don't want it, and so because you don't want it, what will you do? You will resist. You will try to push the stimulus of the unpleasant feeling. What's the stimulus of unpleasant feeling? The other person. So mentally, you push that person away. But this person is also a part of your program. You cannot push him. He has the right to come. She has the right to come. So, but you might continue to push. You might continue to push. And you don't succeed. Continue to push. So the exertion happens. This exertion is then perspirated. Perspirate. It perspires in the form of heart palpitation. Tick, 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 tick. And you also sweat a little bit. And then the uneasiness builds up. So that if this stress, your mind trying to resist, this resistance consumes a lot of your energy. And if you don't succeed in this, succeed in pushing the other person, then it builds up what is known as it builds up, and then it'll gradually develop into depression. If it prolongs, it gradually develops into depression. And he said, I've got 30 minutes and it's already 15 minutes gone, and there's only 5 minutes. Okay, this is to better stop. There's only 5 minutes. So initially, I got the information you have 30 minutes. 15 minutes pass, and I'm sending me a message, the staff. Okay, so what I'm saying is that if this mental resistance, if it's intense, it becomes anxiety. So many people have anxiety issues. And some people, they even don't know the cause. And cause can be multiple factors. Small things built up into a big anxiety issues. And if it is extended, it can become depression. So now if you don't want this to you, if you don't want, and don't think that simply because you're not suffering from this now, doesn't mean that you will not experience it in the future. You're getting it. If you know these 5 tips today, later on, if ever you also fall into this problem, you remember this, how this depression is coming and how it can be undone. Why I'm saying this is that I remember there was one gentleman. Today he must be in his late 70s. For years, I've been meeting him, and he was extremely a positive person, extremely positive. And you bring anyone, say the professors or the corporate, the managers or the CEOs or the musicians, you just talk you bring any topic on the table, he has something to share. And it's very positive, it'll make everything very beautiful. One day, I got a message that he was going through some kind of surgery, major surgery, and the surgery was not successful. And he was going to deep depression. And I could not believe that this is the person who went into depression. I did not, when I heard it, I did not believe, took it very seriously of what the other person said. And then the person asked me if I can talk to him. Yes, we know you so well. And then we just starting talking. I could not believe that such an extremely positive, experienced person today has become very, very negative, so low. What I'm saying is that it can happen to any one of us. So therefore, simply because you see somebody else committing suicide or somebody else going through depression and so forth, and you're okay, and don't, it's not okay. It's not okay because this not okay can happen to you anytime. So be prepared. How to undo in case if it happens, how to undo that is very simple. It's a purely cognitive transformation. Cognitive, you have to realign your thinking, and the feelings will be realigned from unpleasant feeling to a very pleasant feeling, corrosive feeling to a very healing feeling. And then when it's a very pleasant feeling, what happens? The intention will embrace the stimulus rather than push the stimulus. When embracing is healing. You embrace somebody, you welcome somebody, you embrace somebody, the other person will feel healing. You feel healing. You push the other person, your heart starts to palpitate, tick tick, tick tick, tick tick. Even your body will start to sweat. So the thing is that how this, say, your immunity can be disrupted if this anxiety can be too long. Your immunity can be disrupted. So therefore, your immunity, if the immunity goes down, it can make you vulnerable to any kind of disease. Very easy. So those people with low immunity, they are advised not to go to the hospitals, because in hospitals you can contract any disease very easily. Why immunity weakness? Because of your mental stress all the time. That stress consumes your immunity. Why the stress? Because of unpleasant feeling. Number four. Why unpleasant feeling? Because of the cognitive, the discrimination, the cognitive thinking, a certain cognitive thinking. Why this? Because of information, the contact and the attention with respect to the information. So, in order to, if you don't want this resistance with respect to intention, rather to embrace, so the immunity builds up. For this, you have to always keep your mind calm and peaceful. And how to do that? For this, you have to change the discrimination, cognitive thinking. How to change this? Go for a very rich, profound, vast, and wholesome information. Don't just go after always seeking likes. Facebook, Instagram, so forth. Okay, how many likes you have? 2,000. I only have 2 likes, and you go into depression. You're getting it? This is all because you don't look for a bigger reality. You don't say bigger information, great information. First, like usually Facebook, Instagram, and these things, information that you get out of the 100 information, only one or two can be meaningful. The rest 98, they're all garbage. Garbage will make your brain filled with garbage, and because of which you will easily go into depression. Whereas if you go for the proper information, say for example, what Albert Einstein said, how Albert is a genius. In fact, IIT people, they used to be able to look at Einstein as your role model. He was a genius, and he was talking about the world. He was not talking about evil San Francisco all the time. He was talking about the world. He said that the world is into crisis because of our inability to see the world in its true forms. Because we live in the world of
optical delusion, where your affinity to your love and affection is to a very small circle of your the family, and the rest of the world you see them as others. So this distinction, partition that you created between self and others, it imprisons yourself in a very small cell. And this imprisonment is your miseries. So the idea is how to get away from this is that make sure that we get in contact with good information. Read something meaningful books, not garbage information from the Facebook and Instagram and so forth. I'm saying this again, from Facebook and Instagram and so forth, information that you get is not that 100% garbage. Only 2% is meaningful. The rest are garbage. How are you? Where did you go? What's the best food? What's the best place to get? Where did you holiday? Also like the holiday. Look, all the garbage. You don't have time for these. So therefore, in those days, those people who want to stay away from this garbage, they are known as they do go for the monasticism. So today, it's a very different world. So you can still go away from this garbage information, go for the very meaningful information. There, for example, like for the Buddhist studies, they're extremely beautiful books. For example, you read His Holiness's book, How to See Yourself as You Really Are. This will give a very different worldview, and you will learn how to tackle your emotions. And you can teach others, you can guide others. You don't have to be Buddhist. You don't have to be Buddhist. I always tell people that enjoy pizza, don't become Italian. You can enjoy pizza. You don't become Italian. You're getting it likewise. You can get this information. You don't have to become Buddhist, but make sure that you're a happy person. That is important. Make sure that your family members are happy. Make sure that your mom is happy. If you are somebody who makes your mom happy, that person, no doubt, is going to be the happiest person in the world. Where you don't know how to make your mom happy, you always say they see something wrong with your mom, see anger towards your mom, that person will never be happy. This is reality. So charity begins at home. You're getting it? So we talk about all this IIT, and all these big these startups and so forth. The big startup first start from the home. Charity begins at home. If you know how to make your mom happy, you are a decent person. That person, on top of that, then with your intellectual capacity, you will really make a difference to your nation, to the world. So, with this in mind, the final takeaway from this meeting, I come to know that you are soon going to the last exam, and many of you will be graduated. So I pray that all of you have a very purposeful, meaningful life wherever you go, and that the say two things. First is, in your life, be kind to yourself. Be kind to yourself. Number two, be wisely kind to yourself. Be kind to yourself means that make sure that you are a happy person. Make sure that you are the repository of the happiness. We stress happiness. If you don't have gold, you cannot export gold. If you don't have happiness to yourself, if you're not happy yourself, you cannot teach happiness to other people. Be happy, first thing. Be happy. Your religion comes second. Philosophy comes second. First is make sure that you be happy, number one. Number two, be wisely kind to yourself. So some people may think that, oh, 10 years later, oh, when I was in IIT, we went to some place known as Tibetan or something house, and there's somebody gave a talk who said that be kind to yourself. Okay, now my life is so miserable, so stressful. Now I should be kind. He said, I remember this. I go to the pubs. I go to the pub, so that I'll be happy, You remember the first line, you forgot the second line. Second line says that be wisely kind to yourself. Going to the pubs is unwise. It'll make you right. Go to the pubs and it'll throw you into the ditch. You know that? You end up in a ditch. This is not wise. This is not kind. This is unwise. So be kind to yourself, meaning be happy. Make sure that you make yourself happy and spread happiness. Your family members. Make your mother happy. Make your siblings happy. Make sure that your family members see you as a role model. And then Second line is be wisely kind to yourself. Do those things which will actually make you happy. Don't do those things which will actually make you unhappy. So, my prayers with all of you that wherever you go after your studies and you whether you continue say masters, PhD, and so forth, or you then leave for some other job and whatever. I always pray that you are happy and you are wisely happy. Okay, with this in mind, I'd like to invite some questions if you have.
Anyone has any question? Please raise your hand.
Any question that you might have, it doesn't mean that I found the answers. The questions are very important. Please,
Good evening. I'm
if possible, you come here. Come here because that the
sure,
online people they want to see you.
sure.
Yes, with the camera. Your name?
Yeah.
What are you doing? Yeah.
Good evening. I'm Akarsh, third year student of mathematics. So my question revolves around Buddhism offers a very profound philosophy, and of course, every one of us has benefited from that. But I have a more of a historical question as to um, if we see the periods during which Buddhism has flourished and thrived, that has overlapped with periods during which it received state support or royal patronage or government support. And even in recent history, we see Tibet struggle, and the Indian government has been very supportive of Buddhism. So my question is, shouldn't such a profound and essential philosophy be not dependent or be independent of the ebbs and flows of politics? Shouldn't such an important philosophy be universal in a sense of time, such that it should not depend on political realities and how governments view religion, but shouldn't this philosophy be for all, irrespective of that?
Very good question. Thank you. Thank you, the Akash. Your name, Akash. Yes, Akash. Thank you so much. Okay, this is a very serious question. They see that when we see that, for example, say the any philosophy, particularly I would say, let's say today, which is acceptable to everybody, is modern science. Okay, Buddhist philosophy is one of them, which is accepted by some, which is not accepted by many. But modern science is accepted by everyone. For example, modern science, this amazing legacy of the world, again, amazing legacy of the human world. At the same time, if it is not being valued by the respective governments or the governments, then the number one and number two, that if there are some individuals in the government or in the royal family who are actually say like or autocratic, the let's say the some kingdoms ruled by the kings, there, if the king does not really is not really into education, not so much into education, and then the king will not value this, king will not support it. Then the individuals, the brilliant minds who can otherwise become like a genius, Albert Einstein, and so forth, they will not get the opportunity to thrive. So therefore, it should be supported. What is so meaningful should be supported by on the high level, and on a large scale. So that is the governments or the royal families in the olden times. So when that is being supported by this, then so naturally that particular discipline will get opportunity to grow and thrive in the minds of the individuals. Where, say for example, even if there's a gold, if somebody sees this as a brass, then you just kick it off and throw in the garbage, and the gold remains the useless. So finally, the point is that the reality has it that it's all dependent, interdependent. It's not just, for example, like the one person, Albert Einstein, back in the during the Second World War. Albert, he was a genius, and he was in Germany. He was in Germany. In fact, the Hitler could have easily used him, used his brilliant knowledge. On the contrary, Hitler was abusing him. He was trying to the subjugate him, subjugate Albert Einstein. When they subjugate him, then all his brilliant thoughts and the ideas, they were not being valued. So therefore, the Germany could not make use of, in those days, Germany could not make use of his brilliance. So therefore, it became like unused because his thoughts to be implemented, it requires incredibly huge infrastructure, which one individual person cannot make. It is dependent on the national support. So therefore, it's all about the interdependency. So what I would say is that, particularly, I say the drops count. It's not just like one body which has the whole capacity, but if the government or the royal families, if they don't support a good the noble ideas, then the individuals can make sure that you don't give up the flame of these brilliant thoughts for the humanity, for the peace of the humanity, for the survival, the peace for the humanity, that people must continue to support each other, that this flame doesn't die. Eventually, at a certain point, that very good leaders can come who can actually pick that up, take it very seriously, and then the multiply that on a large scale. Thank you, Akash. Next question. Please raise your hand. Please raise your hand. Anyone? No one? Raise your hand. Yes.
Hello.
If you can stand, so people come with your name, what are you doing?
My name is Diksha, and I am doing electrical engineering, fourth year BTech. And my question is, could you tell something about power of silence?
Oh, that's good point. Power of silence. Power of silence. Okay. So basically, say the I would say that silence. How important is silence? How important is silence? I may share that with respect to two things. First, the power of silence, where you talk, right? The ability to talk, the communication, there's something so unique of the human brain, human genes. They're so unique and so precious. But sometimes what happens is we talk and all garbage comes out. Say, the moment you meet somebody, we're so quick in scanning the person from the top to toe. So fast, all the scan. And then you talk to a friend, oh, look, that person, there's a Chanel there, Chanel bag, Gucci, all this garbage comes out. There's nothing meaningful there. When garbage comes out, silence. Silence. Don't let the garbage take over your mind. Silence. This is one. You getting it? This is number one. Whereas if good things come out, don't silence. Don't remain silent. Don't remain silent. Talk. Something good. For example, you become a professor. For example, like the Professor Bhartiji, right? He talks and so many people have benefited. His Holiness the Dalai Lama talks and so many millions have benefited. So good people, where good thoughts come out, don't remain silent. Talk. Where bad things come out, keep silence. You getting it? This is one thing. Then the next is that say the for us the listening for your personal growth. For personal growth, listening is very important. To listen, you should be silent, right? You cannot talk, you can listen simultaneously. You listen. And listening, the power of listening, where you remain silent and absorb what the other person is talking. and the other person may be talking garbage. From that, you, through listening, remain silent and listening, you make sure that, look, this is garbage, how ugly it is. I will not mimic that. I'll not follow this step. I'll not talk garbage. When you see somebody talking extremely meaningful, wow, that's amazing. Inspiration. Again, by being silent, silent observing what others talking, you take this lesson that in future I'm inspired by this. I'll talk only sensible things, something which is helpful. The next point, that with respect to this question, what I will say is that, say whenever you say something, whenever you say something, make sure that you know, make sure that you just don't disturb the community, don't disturb your family, don't disturb your community. You're getting it? For example, say IIT Delhi, say I meet, let's say that I meet, you make a public appearance, extremely interesting public appearance, and from there, like you say, the dance or song, and there, let's say that the person A, the say student A and B, student A was the main highlight of that group, outstandingly greatly skilled, and student B is was a part of that, but some similar, but not 100% outstanding. So next day, the say the outsider met these two students, and just look at the person A, student A, saying that you're amazing. Without you, IT would not have really stood that. The outstanding, you are outstandingly good. And in a way, implicitly, you are downgrading the other student B. Although you are not telling the student B that you are hopeless. In a way, you are saying that you are hopeless. So, therefore, when you talk, always make sure that you remain silent with respect to what you are not ought to speak. In other words, when you talk, just know what to talk, to whom to talk, where to talk, when to talk, how much to talk, how to talk. You're getting it? So if you're aware of these things, then you will shine and nobody will be in friction with you. When nobody in friction with you, you will shine. Nobody will cause obstruction to your shining. You're getting it? So you have to know what to talk, then when to talk, to whom to talk, where to talk, how much to talk. You're getting it? You have to know these things so well, and then you will shine. And be silent with respect to the talks which are garbage. Be silent. With respect to the meaningful talks, don't remain silent. This is known as the middle way. Okay, next question. Oh, yes, over there, the girl over there. And next, the boy here.
My question is, can you be happy all the time?
Okay, this is a good question. Okay, let's make it very quick. This is it's a question which requires a long time discussion. Let's make it very quick. Okay, so what's the opposite? What's your name?
Adrita,
Adrita. Adrita, tell me, what's the opposite of happiness?
sadness,
Sadness. Okay, let's say, all of you, put your hands out. Okay, and see what I'm doing. Do what I'm doing. Very good. This sound, Artita, this sound is the metaphor to the sadness. If you remove the sadness completely, you are forever happy. So this sound comes because two hands coming together. So our job is to the sound which is a metaphor for your suffering. You have to get rid of this sound. So to get rid of the sound, what should we do? We should remove either both the hands or one of the two hands. What are the two hands? The two hands are hands are symbolic of your internal thought process and our external factors. Internal factor and external factor. And external factors, how many external factors are there which make you disturbed? Artida, how many external factors are there? Infinite external factors are there. You cannot possibly get rid of all the external factors. But internal factors, there are only two. So wise people, be wise. How wise? You think of getting rid of the internal factor of two hands. Internal factor, remove it. External factor, however strong, no sound. No sound. You're getting it? No sound. So sound of the unhappiness starts for altogether. When the sound of happiness stops altogether, happiness is eternally yours. Good. The last.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, sir. So I would like to ask that in what we have learned in the courses and what we have learned through your lectures, like you gave two lectures there and one lecture here. The main idea that we sort of gained about the Buddhism philosophy is through an idea of a pessimistic view of the world. Like there are more sufferings than happiness in the world. That wasn't the case for the most of the other philosophies. I would like to just see how would like Buddha react to like how would Buddha explain to the philosophy to a person who doesn't believe in the axiom that there exists more suffering than the happiness in the world.
Okay, this is a good question. I'm glad that you brought this up because I say this is a naive understanding. Anybody who tells you that Buddha taught the world is misery, world is misery, world is misery, you are misery, you're hopeless, IIT hopeless, right? America hopeless, India hopeless, everywhere hopeless, right? Albert Einstein hopeless, Messi hopeless, right? Mazat hopeless. If you ever meet somebody like this, that person is pessimistic. You're getting it? Buddha is very optimistic. While in those days, 2,500 years ago, while the whole nation, the whole kingdom, all these Muslim kingdoms, then India was non existent. It was just like 300 something kingdoms. In all these kingdoms, the kingdoms are all very pessimistic, saying that girls are hopeless, boys are special. That is hopeless. If there's anybody who believes in this concept, girls are hopeless and the boys are the important, that is a hopeless individual, hopeless state, hopeless country, hopeless kingdom, because they don't believe in the power of the women. You're getting it? So those people who said that Buddhism is pessimistic, that person is pessimistic. You're hearing it? You say that when if you say that, oh, no, the whole world is negative. You are negative. You're getting, in a way, you are saying that I'm very negative. You're getting it? So therefore, nowhere the Buddha taught. Listen, hey, the boy, what's your name?
So hi, sir. I'm Divyanshu Bansal.
Huh?
Divyanshu Bansal.
Okay, so say nowhere the Buddha taught everything is misery, everything hopeless, I do hopeless. Nowhere the Buddha said it. If you encounter with anybody who said that in Buddhism everything is suffering, that person is pessimistic. The Buddha taught, why I'm saying this, 2,500 years ago, when all the kingdoms, they're so hopeless, they are so negative towards the females. There's a widespread male chauvinistic ideas, male chauvinism spreading. The Buddha was the one who said that this is not the world. World should be a different world, a better world, more the more positive world. Male and female, they are same. There should not be any discrimination against the female. You're getting it? Buddha was the one who so courageously, on the large scale, for the first time in the history of India, came up very strongly to say that by no means the female is inferior. They are superior. If anybody says that female is superior to the men, females and the female, these two are same. This is very pessimistic. That person is pessimistic. That person is not in favor of growth of the nation. That person is the one who is stopping the growth of the nation. So we all should be very positive. Don't be pessimistic. You're getting it? You have to learn the authentic information. Don't listen to the hearsay. Read authentic books written by authentic masters, not by the non-authentic masters. Books do not mean anything until the author is authentic. There are so many books coming up which are totally garbage. Many books are garbage. They're very authentic books. Read those authentic books, and then you will realize that the world should be a better world. To make it very easy, read His Holiness the Dalai Lama's book. His Holiness is very, very positive, extremely positive. Where the world is drowning into wars. Look, where the world is really drowning in war. It is not what the Buddha said, and the world is drowning in war. It's the reality. Wars everywhere. How many millions of people being killed? This is reality. But His Holiness the Dalai Lama, oh, the world is very negative. Look, the Russia-Ukraine war, how many millions have been killed? Look at the Gaza, the Gaza Strip, how many people are killed? Look at the domestic violence, stress, China, India, all these. So negative. No, he's very positive. So read those good books. One book that I would suggest is Ethics for the New Millennium by His Holiness the Dalai Lama. And the book by His Holiness known as the Book of Joy, not the Book of Suffering. Book of Joy. Read the book. Read the authentic books. You're getting it? Don't be pessimistic. Be positive. Okay, next question. Yes. Don't forget this book. Hey, what is the title of the book? And number 2, the Book of Joy. You're not Book of Miseries. Yes.
So hi, I'm Garvit. My question is about so the books written for about the Buddhism were written after the death of Buddha, right? So can we check that the books that were written were not of what the Buddha inferred in his teaching, but what the students took from those teachings? So can it be possible that the things written in those books is not the what Buddha actually meant, and the what was inferred by the students? So, and also one more thing that what I read was there are many divisions and subdivisions in the Buddhism. So what is the reason for that?
Okay. I will do the second question first. Okay. So the young boys and girls, we need to learn how to broaden the horizon of your knowledge. You're getting it? Not just straight, but broad in latitude, not just vertical. Vertical and longitudinal, both. You have to grow in both ways. Both broad. Same, for example, 2000 years ago, the Nalanda University was the first university in the world, which means that in this world there was only one university. Now there are thousands of universities. What's the reason for that? Think of that. You're getting it? Hinduism, there are so many sects. Islam, Sunni, Shia. Within Sunni of this country, Sunni of that country. Shia of this country, Shia of that country. Christianity, Protestants, Catholicism. Sikhism, the Canadian Sikhs and the Indian Sikhs. You getting it? So this is a reality. This is reality of the human faith. For example, say your father, how many brothers how many uncles you had from your father? 7 brothers. 7 brothers, once upon a time they were brothers. Later on they will become uncles, not brothers. And their children become cousins, not brothers. You're getting it? This is a law of entropy. It's nothing unique about Buddhism. It's the law of the entropy that we taught in physics. The tendency is that the orderliness will keep dividing more and more into more and more divisions and become, with respect to the first one, then say, brothers, you fight, not fight. No, as little kids, they're very cute. They'll not fight. And then as you grow, they have their own families, they start fighting. Then their next generation becomes cousins. They'll start fighting. And then oh yeah, they are a distant relative. You're getting it? This is the law of entropy. Don't be surprised about it. Okay, next. Next is about your question with respect to what the Buddha taught and what the later the masters, what they said may not be the original thoughts of the Buddha. So for you, it doesn't matter whether it's Buddha's teachings or the later masters' teachings. Only you should be benefited. You're getting it? Your great grandparents, they did not have IIT, but IIT is so good. You're getting it? So better go for the better one. So whether it was originally taught by the Buddha or later taught, not actually taught by the Buddha, later the masters, they develop on their own thoughts. It doesn't matter. You should be benefited. The whole purpose is not that what the Buddha taught should be the original, that should be the thing. The idea is that the world should be a better world. World should not be immature, small children like the world, very immature in thinking. Today, if His Holiness the Dalai Lama, if His Holiness the Dalai Lama is the president of USA instead of Trump, whole world is going to be very different. All the wars will stop. This is reality. You're getting it? So therefore, this thought should be changed. It doesn't matter who said it. It can be said by you. And if that has the capacity to stop all the wars, you should be revered as the God of the world. It's not necessary that somebody always like Buddha, Christ, Jesus Christ, and so forth should be revered. No. Anybody who says something and the world comes to harmony, where all the wars stop, all the domestic violence stop, husband beating the wives, wives beating the husbands, children fighting against the parents, all this stop, the world becomes very, saved from the chaos. That person becomes great. That is the savior of the world. Good.